Everybody, thanks for watching, and just a quick reminder that Mystery School Volume 6 is now available, as well as Ancient History Volume 5, so definitely pick those up. But, reincarnation. And one of the reasons why I'm doing this video is because a lot of people seems like, it's so far-fetched to believe in such a thing, and that it's like in left field or crazy or stupid to believe in such a thing. Now, one of the things a lot of people don't understand is almost every civilization in the ancient world that we know of talked about and believed in reincarnation. It's just that simple. They believed in spirit, they believed in energy, they believed in reincarnation, and it's something that they spoke about, and it's something that we see even still to this day in a lot of civilizations. Just about every religion talks about reincarnation. So you have, the Asians, of course, with Buddhism. You have Sikhism. You have many religions that's getting into reincarnations. And the three main religions, when you understand esoterically in the parables, is also giving you reincarnation. So when you look back in the ancient world, everywhere you look, you're going to see references to reincarnation. The ancient Egyptians believed in it. We know from the story of Osiris, we have reincarnation. We know about Amenemhet the First taking the name Wehem-Misut, which translates into repeater of birth, just like Seti I translates into repeater of birth when you understand, these names and what it's talking about. So we see in ancient Egypt, they believed in reincarnation. And a lot of people don't understand in the Bible. Tells you clear as day with John 3, when it says, 3, Jesus answered and said unto him, Verily, verily, I say unto thee, except the man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God. Nicodemus said unto him, How can a man be born when he is old? Can he enter a second time into his mother's womb and be born? And Jesus reiterates. He doesn't say, well, let me explain to you, being born again means you just got to start acting good and not doing bad stuff. He reiterates and he says, Verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born of water and of spirit, he cannot enter into the kingdom of God. That which is born of flesh is flesh, and that which is born of spirit is spirit. And those who understand esoterically understand it's talking about the cycle of life, the wheel of reincarnation, plain and simple. So when you go back and look at these ancient civilizations that basically talked about the woman in the womb, we know about ancient Kemet. It's basically showing us the womb and the cycle of life through the female womb, plain and simple. So it's there, it's clear, and it's a lot more that people got to look into when getting into reincarnation, and how it's not so far-fetched, and how so many different civilizations spoke about it. So now you have many of the philosophers, especially the ones coming out of ancient Kemet, Thales and Pythagoras and Aristotle, and all these people, Plato and all of them believed in reincarnation and talked about reincarnation. We get from Pythagoras this whole theory on reincarnation. Same thing with Thales. So this stuff that was talked about in ancient Greece and throughout the ancient world, and it's something that was basically understood as being a possibility or not far-fetched, which a lot of people, when I start talking about this in previous video, was acting as if this was something that's so crazy, when it's something that if you actually done the research and looked in the ancient world, it's everywhere. So I understand why people who claim they're doing research is not seeing this stuff. It's right there, it's everywhere, and everybody spoke about it. Now, and you get people that say, okay, well, I can't see how we can have this entire life and all these memories or what have you. When you're born, you don't know nothing of the past life. And I mean, it's basically, when we talk about death being, the cousin of sleep, or sleep being a cousin of death, or what have you, it's the same thing when you go to sleep. It's the same thing when you dream. You can have so many dreams and be dreaming about the most craziest thing, and you wake up and don't remember nothing. So how is it so far-fetched that the same thing could be possible during the wheel of reincarnation? This whole cycle of life. It's a possibility. We're talking about the same stuff. You also have to take into consideration, as I said before, the fact that when you are dreaming, when you are in a dream world, you have no clue that in reality you are in the bed sleep. You have no clue that in reality you're on the floor passed out, or on the couch passed out, that you fell asleep watching TV. You're in a dream world believing that that dream world is real, and what's taking place is something that is real. But in reality, you're just in the bed sleep. So it's a lot, energy-wise, that people don't understand that makes, you know, perfect sense when you're talking about something like reincarnation and understanding dreams. Now, I don't expect, you know, Christians to really get into this stuff and really try to understand it, even though it's talking about it in a book. A lot of people don't want to accept that fate and that understanding, but it's a lot esoterically when you understand religion that it's just giving you about reincarnation, about this being hell and this being the afterlife, as I talk about in my videos. You gotta understand that. So as I said before, if, you know, energy is everything, and, you know, like I said before, if you take a body that's alive, you slice the arm, it will basically heal. You know, that's energy at work. You do it to a dead body, it will not heal. So we have the understanding that energy is animating everything living. And if energy is the true life that's animating physical, you know, this physical stuff, these physical animals and beings or what have you, then energy would be the true living being and not this material stuff. So what happens when you die will be the true living, the true life, and this is the after. If you really understand what the Egyptians was talking about, and I get into this in the videos. But again, if you're not into energy and understanding all this stuff and, you know, what they talk about in the occult and esoteric circles, this is tough for people to grasp. So you can take Einstein, his whole talk about energy, saying that energy cannot be created or destroyed, but only transformed from one form to another. So if you take that and you understand that when we have this energy, we have this so-called soul, and that people who don't believe in reincarnation think that every time a person is born, it's just this new energy over and over again. We're just creating all this new energy that, you know, when you really get into it deeply, you understand that you have two people who come together. And I get into all this about energy, and you have the masculine energy basically awakened in the woman by the man, and the feminine energy awakened in the man by the woman, which is creating this life, you know, whether you understand that or not. And that we have these traits from our parents, that when we grow up, we do stuff that they did, and we have the talents that they did, because this energy is being passed down and creating this life that it's an energetic energy that's being passed down and creating this new life, but it's from the same energy. It's from energy, not new energy, just energy that has always been, that has this knowledge and information, you know, if you can understand that and grasp it. So, you know, when you look at it from that point, we're not creating new energy because it's not possible to do so. We're transferring energy from one form to another, just as Einstein said. Now, you have a lot of Christians that say, oh, it's crazy, or it's stupid to believe in reincarnation, yet they believe that Noah was able to fit, you know, thousands of species of insects and cats and dogs on the ark, not to mention all the other animals. So, you know, it's crazy when you take something that's clearly impossible and you know, shun something that's possible, that many civilizations talked about, that is, you know, plausible. It's completely believable when you really understand. So we have with the Buddhas in Buddhism, them having a whole system, you know, looking at the Buddhist monks in Tibet, the whole system they have of reincarnation, how they have, according to them and according to anybody who's willing to believe, have effectively been able to pinpoint and track and prove reincarnation. They have the ceremonies where they have the kid, talked about this in Buddhism DVD, when they have the kid basically select items that they believe used to belong to him in a former life. And this stuff happens. The same thing with the Dalai Lama and all this stuff and everything, you know, when you get into that information. So the fact that you have all the ancient civilizations believing in it, and then, you know, Buddhism has been around for a long time, modern civilization still believing in Buddhism, shows you it's not far-fetched. It's stuff that was talked about, stuff that's been sticking around for a long time. So when you get into that type of information, you know, to understand it, you have to really understand human energy and how that whole thing works, and you have to really get into a lot more information and study a lot to really get how something like this is possible and why it would occur. So when you get into the ancient Egyptian teachings, this is something that, you know, will be revealed to you in understanding what they talked about. And esoterically, with the Bible, is telling you the same thing. Same thing with the Torah and the Quran. It's giving you the same stuff, because that's where they got the information from anyway, if you understand. So, you know, what reincarnation is, something that as they talked about in ancient Kemet, that you want to escape and you want to control, and being able to control it is, that's tough. Being able to escape it now, because when you get into the information, you'll see how that changed from controlling it to escaping it. So at one point, it was something we was able to do, and now it's something that we need to escape for whatever reason. I'm not going to get into all that in this video. Talked about it in previous videos. But, that's what it's about now. Stuff has happened on this planet, and your goal is to escape the wheel of reincarnation. And whether you understand it or not, if you want to go through what they talked about, you have possibly been here for thousands of years. You have possibly been through the, water reality as some type of water creature, insect creature, bird, cat, what have you. Lastly, you incarnate as a human. So many different belief systems that believe and taught this information and had this understanding about reincarnation and about how to take the necessary steps. And with Buddhism, they believe in, karmic consequences, and that if you are out of sync with your energy and karma, and you would basically not be spiritually strong enough to survive reincarnating back into human form, that you felt so low in consciousness and energy that you will reincarnate as a animal. So they have like a big celebration when they feel like they found somebody that did reincarnate and make it back to the realm of a human body, and it's a big festival. So it's a lot of stuff you can get into. If anybody wants to really get into the information, it's out there, and it's up to you to choose to believe or to accept what's being said, but to really understand how it's possible, and so many things support it when you really get into the information. People got to understand, one, that the system, as I just talked about in mystery school, the system that we are living in is a created system for us, plain and simple. And some people don't think about what life is about. It's just you born into a system. There are rules you got to follow. It's stuff that people before you have done to be successful, and you follow what the system tells you to follow. And people think that's life. People think this is what we've been put here to do, to go to school, work, pay taxes and die, and that's not the case. So you really have to ask yourself, what do you believe your purpose is? What are you here for? What's your purpose? So some people think that something involving, the business world, or, something that fits within this system that was created for us to basically be lost in, is their purpose. So you have people to say, oh yeah, it was my purpose to play ball. Well, no, that's something a man created for you to do. It's not your purpose. My purpose is, to play baseball, to be a dancer or a rapper. That's not your purpose. That's something that a man created, that you can make money off of. It's not your purpose here. So when you couple that, or ask yourself that same question in every facet of, working or career, you have to understand, one, that was something that's created by another person for you to follow, for you to be subjected to. It's not your true purpose. So then what is your true purpose? And that goes back to, understanding what everybody else talked about. So again, if you want to take it on a spiritual route and understanding one of the ancients was far more spiritual than we are today, did the same stuff. They was into the same stuff. Energy, spirituality. It wasn't about material. So what has happened is that, spirituality has been, done away with and put into the realm of spooky. And, all the old gods was done away with, the so-called, gods was done away with, that was put here and created. And that's one of the things, as I always say, people got to understand, we don't worship Osiris, we don't worship these Egyptian gods. They were created to explain these things about life and reality and, the body, the mind. This is what these people represent. They're not there to be worshipped. It's for you to understand existence itself. So, you can go back and look at what they talked about and how all of this information was a part of you getting and understanding your experience as, a human on this planet and what you need to be doing. So even if you are a Christian, you're going to work, you doing what you're doing, and your lifestyle is not following what the Bible says is right before your God. You know, so even as a Christian or religious person, you know, you're not living what you believe is the life you should live before God. So you're in a system. And even as a religious person, you can't believe that your purpose in that religion is to follow the system. You should be doing something that's conducive to your religion. And most people are not. They're doing little stuff here and there, but their full life is not conducive to the religion, which the religions tell you if you're not doing everything right with the book, then you shouldn't be doing nothing at all, because, you know, you ain't gonna get into heaven anyway. So again, stuff man created. If you understand that man created, then you have to understand and figure out what is your true purpose, plain and simple. And if you understand the consequences of what they're talking about in the ancient world, that if you do not get or understand or fulfill your purpose, then reincarnation is a possibility. So the whole concept of a hell, when you understand that if this is the afterlife, this is hell, as I always talk about. We've seen the movie Constantine, they show Earth as hell. If you really understand esoterically what the book is saying, this is hell, and you've heard that before, that concept. It's a true concept when you understand it. Then you understand that you're already dead and this is hell, and your job is to basically escape and get out of here. When you really get it, don't get scared, don't be spooky about that concept. You need to get that this stuff is just spooky stuff, you know, created to keep you away from it, because they don't want you to know the truth. And that you need to embrace and understand what this stuff is saying. And that, yeah, even though you may be, you know, into biblical religion, into any of the Abrahamic religions, and that they have a concept of hell, the concept came from the ancient world, plain and simple. You know, that's where it came from. So when you understand esoterically what this stuff is talking about, your goal should be not to reincarnate. That's not what you want. And your goal should be to get spiritually right and to ascend, and to understand that, you know, you have a lot of these Christians that say, well, I'm gonna act like I'm a Christian, and if I'm wrong, you know, I'm fine, but if you're wrong, you're gonna burn. And they don't understand the flip side to that is we as conscious people understand, yeah, we're right, and us being right, we know that, you know, we're going to be able to ascend and move on to the next stage of existence, while you're going to keep reincarnating, coming back here, plain and simple. So it's about what you put in your energy and what you allow yourself to understand and allow yourself to grow. It's what's going to determine what happens to you, you know, at death. Now, not many people are going to want to accept that, but again, you are free to accept whatever reality that you want, plain and simple. So when you look at, you know, everything is totality. As far as what we've been taught and what we've been told, none of these systems is giving us true spirituality. None of these systems is saying, you know, this is the program we need to be on to really, you know, move forward into the next stage of existence, because you're going to die. Everybody knows that, you know, and it's like nobody is preparing you for that, except for you have the churches that we know, liars, frauds. The book is bullshit. It's an esoteric book with hidden meanings and an agenda that, you know, is being hatched in front of our eyes. And it's not telling you the truth. It's not giving you straight up what you need to understand, which is why the book is hard for people to understand, because it's talking in mumbo jumbo instead of being direct and clear like the ancients was, plain and simple. So I'm reading in the book and I can't tell who black, who white, who what, who did what. Why is everything so indirect? Why is everything in riddles or parable? And people are going to say, well, you just don't understand the book. They don't understand the damn book either, because they don't read it. It's put that way so they can cover their ass about stuff that you're going to figure out later on. That's why it was written that way. And those of us who have done the research and figured it out has been speaking out about it. And the reason why many of you cannot understand or grasp what we are saying, because you choose not to do the research or to listen. So, you know, I got a lot of people who, you know, commented about reincarnation and all that in a negative way, who don't want to understand or grasp the concept of it, but would rather hold on to, you know, what they believe religiously, biblically, and not even fathom the question of, if that's the case, and, you know, you're about this Bible and you following this God, what are you doing here in the first place? So I always get people who try to challenge my agenda. You know, you got these people on here who see a professional intro and see what I'm doing, and they got this whole notion that I'm Illuminati or something spooky and all this crazy stuff, and want to challenge my agenda, my purpose, my point. Why am I doing this? And as I said, people who know have been following me since day one. I've been on here for years, long time, since probably like 2012, and been putting out information for a long time. And as I said, how I started was just posting videos for my study group, not knowing that other people could actually see the videos and would start watching them. So that's basically how it started. But really, it kept going because the information was helping people out. People had a lot of questions, and I spent years, over 16 years now, doing this research and studying and traveling the world and going to these places and trying to figure it out in truth. No agenda, just truth. My aunt, plain and simple, wanting to know what it is. Like, what the fuck is it? What's out there? What is this? Because they're not going to tell you. They're not going to tell you. And not straight out anyway. But they're telling you. They put it out there. It's just you have to know what's bullshit or what's not. And best way to do that is to go look in the ancient world. That's all I always talk about. But that's the purpose. That is my point. Truth. To get it out there. When okay, I'm black. Can't mistake that. And you see what's happening to us. And then you learn our history. And then you got to figure out, well, damn, it ain't that much hate in the world. What is it about us? And then you go and do the research, and then you look and you see what has been hidden from us and taken away from us, and while we are being oppressed and everything is hidden and everything is the way that it is. I mean, how can you not research this? What is wrong with you people? I don't understand. How could you not look at our situation, our history, and then revert back to a goddamn book that was given to us in slavery? From a person that's supposed to be good and sunshine, roses and lollipops, but yet would allow slavery. And as I said, Ephesians 6:5, when it's saying, slaves, obey your earthly master as you would Christ, that should tell you something. That should tell you who wrote that book, who put that book out there. So again, when you're seeing all this stuff and you're seeing what's been hidden, when things don't seem right, you go and look, and luckily, we have people who came before me who truthfully have the right heart and agenda to put the information out there. Again, it's up to you to accept the information. And I always challenge people, please go do your own research. But I guarantee you're going to find exactly what I showed you because I did the research. So, I get a lot of questions from people who are deterred and frustrated by naysayers and religious people who frustrate you, and that's what they're going to do. Plain and simple. That's why I told you guys, don't be debating with these people and don't even deal with a lot of these wackos because they're crazy. And stick to what you're doing. Stick to putting out the information. Stick to learning and getting this information in you, and understanding what it's truly talking about. Because these people, they sit up here and they laugh. These religious people be laughing and trying to play you and make it seem like you stupid and crazy. But deep down, they don't believe that shit they talking. Because if they did, they wouldn't be on social media. They don't believe it. And you should know that they don't believe it. You should know that when they logging off, they're going to go sin against their Bible, when they're going to go do some bullshit, and they're not going to be living their life according to that book. They ain't reading the book. So don't let it get to you. Just understand that for real, come on. You on the right path. They into some bullshit. Anytime a person want to believe some fairy tales that a man got super strength because his hair long, dude could survive 3 days in the fish. Like, come on, we're talking about fairy tales, plain and simple. That Bible is no different than Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. You can't prove none of them is true. Plain and simple. We just all agreeing out of the blue because this is what we was taught, that the Bible has some truth in it, but it's not proven. It's not backed up by proven history, which is why it requires faith, as I always say. So, it's up to you guys to interpret what you think is correct and do the research and figure out, what you want to believe. A lot of people don't want the truth. A lot of people don't want to do the research. They want to believe what's popular and what they was taught, and not think outside the box. It's tough for any sane person to believe that the Bible is real, and then look at this government system where the Bible says that God basically put these people in power, and to believe that something like this is possible, that something like this happened and it's true and this is the way it's supposed to be, when you look at all the evil and craziness that's been done by this government system. So even the people who have been following religion for a long time don't truly accept it and believe in it, because we don't see this unified, following of the Bible. It's people acting like they're Christians one minute and then sinning the next minute. People who say they're Christian and will, be with another person that says they're Christian, and them together will go and sin crazy, but then they'll look at you when you say you're not Christian as if you did something wrong. This is the mind control that religion has on people, and them not wanting to look outside the box. So whenever I, see a religious person say something against, what we talk about esoterically or in the ancient world, it's like, come on. Stop that. It's crazy. So I don't really like to get into too much stuff that's crazy, that's out there. I'll say it that is out there before I talk about it. But this is something that's not. Reincarnation is something that you heard before. It's not something that's far-fetched. The fact that we're talking about it as a concept of something that's possible should tell you something, or else we wouldn't fathom it at all if it's not possible. A lot of people spoken about it, and it makes a lot of sense when you really think about it. And again, if you understood without getting into physics and energy and everything like that, then you will see how it can make sense. And people are going to pass it off as crazy, but it's really not. And you should really take the time to listen and understand what is being said about this information, and that conscious people have a hell, and that they believe in, and you are living in it, is this. So even though you can be surrounded by opulence and beauty and sophistication and everything that you think is great, when you understand how primitive it is on a, just an energetic level, that energy is creating everything is made of atoms, then you understand about energy, and by you being infinite energy and having this consciousness to create whatever, you will see how primitive this stuff is. And that's getting into it a little bit spooky or what have you, but it's deep, when you really grasp what the ancients talked about. It's nothing. It's like backwards when you really think about you being truly energy living in its matter. It's stupid, and then choosing to be stuck here. It's retarded. So people who follow, the videos or follow, the DVDs and what I talk about, understand, what I'm saying and why this makes sense. Now, we've seen all the images of hell and what people think hell is or what have you. And we've seen the beauty of this planet, on this physical level. And I can see why people will find it hard to believe that this place could be hell. But you have to think about it on a bigger scale as being this infinite energy that can create and do whatever you want, but being trapped in, the physical, level, and not being able to manifest and really do manifestation on a level you should be able to do it on when you understand energy. So in that instance, when you look at it that way, and when you look at the fact that, one, you're going to live this life, hopefully a long one, and you're going to have experiences, and you're going to do things, and you're going to meet people, and you're going to make connections, and you're going to die. And when you die, you're going to lose all of it. It's going to be gone. Now, to reincarnate and to come back, newborn baby, new life, and not understand that somewhere on this planet there's people mourning you, there's people who miss you, people who want to see you again, and you're now in this new form, this new person, with no understanding of who these people are and nothing that you did, none of your accomplishments, nothing. When you look at it that way, that is one of the worst things. That is horrible. Who wants to constantly go over that over and over again? So when you understand the ancients and what they talked about and why they wanted to stop this, to basically, as the Buddhists say, reach nirvana, why you want to have no karmic consequences, so then you live a life that is going to be basically the last birth, all the stuff I talked about in Buddhism series, and why it's important. Who wants to go through that? And you also have to look at it as if you're not fulfilling your purpose, your true point, and what you're put here for, and what you're supposed to be doing here, then you go through your life in this system, stuck in the system, doing what somebody created for you to do that's benefiting them and not really you, and not really doing anything for you spiritually. Then you got to think about it as if, okay, well, you dropped the ball on this one, start all over, do it again until you get it, if you understand what I'm saying. So it makes sense to look at it this way, the way the ancients looked at it, as if you were here to do something, to achieve something, and you didn't, so you're going to get another try. And once you achieve it and get to this point, then you'll have the knowledge, which is power, and it's so deep to get into that. You'll have the knowledge, you'll have what you need to keep going, if you understand what I'm saying. So when we look at everything that we do in physical reality, you can't do it without knowledge. You know, you can't build no computer if you don't know how to. You can't build a car if you don't know how to. You have to obtain that first in order to go to the next step. So if you're living a life and this life has something you need to learn, because it's life, it's something, it's not just going to work. It's something about this life that you live that you have to do, that you have to get. You know, it's not about going to work and doing stuff that other humans created for you to do until you die. What is this? What is it here for? It's not no mistake. It's something to it. There's something, and you need to do it. You need to complete it. And this is what the ancients was talking about. And you have to understand it's a system in place that don't ever want you to understand or grasp the concept. Plain and simple. They want you to just, you know, keep coming back here so they can keep using you. And that's getting deeper into it. But you got to think about it. You know what I'm saying? So it's something that you're supposed to do. So our ancestors left us a lot of information. And they put it in stone because they charged us with completing what they couldn't complete because they were stabbed in the back. And the information is out here, and because of universal law, they can't hide it all. It's in plain sight. They putting everything out there, and it's there. It's up to you to get it in you and to learn it and to accept it and, you know, do what you're meant to do. And, you know, some people will, you know, understand that and believe it. Some will not. And it is what it is, you know. And yeah, I basically challenge Christians all the time to just do the research, to not simply watch a bunch of YouTube videos or go to church and think you know what you know. I never take that road of thinking I know everything. I'm still a student, still learning, still studying, you know, still researching. But I know I read more words a day than people speak in a month. So I know I'm on my job and I'm researching and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and I can tell when somebody is not. So I try not to get into too many debates because there's no point. But, you know, to get back to the point, reincarnation. Yep. You know, it's definitely something that's possible. It's definitely something that I personally believe in and understand. And I'm not pushing it on nobody. You don't got to believe it. You don't have to accept it. You know, it is what it is. But I wanted to make the video to spark the brain of people who are on the fence about it, who want to know a little bit more, who think it's crazy and out there, to go ahead and just do the research and really look more deeper into it before you just say somebody's crazy. You know, it's just that simple. So I want to thank you guys for taking the time to watch, and thanks to everybody who's been purchasing and supporting, and definitely take advantage of the flash drive deal. You know, people complaining about price and everything, and yeah, if you buy all the videos separate, it's going to cost a lot, which is why I put this flash drive deal out. Every time I get ready to take it down, I get like 200 emails from people who want the deal to go back up. So I'm trying to keep it going as long as possible to get everybody who want it, you know, to get it. And I understand that people don't get paid till this day. People want to do this and that, so I'm being patient and I'm leaving it out there for you know, probably another week before it's taken down. So you know, I really appreciate the support and appreciate everybody who's been, you know, supporting for since day one. And yeah, want to keep it going. It's a lot more to go, a lot more to talk about. And yeah, thanks for watching, thanks for purchasing and supporting. I'll see you guys next video.